Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Enemies List, brought to you by Lincoln Square. I'm your host, as always, Rick Wilson. And on this week's Enemies List, we have a cast of millions. You know, as somebody who's been in the fight against Donald Trump for almost a decade, let's call it, almost exactly a decade, I can tell you one thing. He has a lot for which he should be held to account, a lot for which he should be held responsible, a lot for which he should be placed in a position on the dustbin of history where countless generations of Americans leave his grave's site reeking of urine. He's the worst president of all time, the worst president in American history by an order of magnitude, several orders of magnitude. Nothing about him is redeeming. Nothing he's done has been particularly smart. There are so few things on the list of Donald Trump's supposed accomplishments that could be viewed in a positive light for any American other than a handful of his billionaire bros and the Trump crime family itself that it's almost not worth mentioning. But the people today I want to talk about and put on the enemies list, we're often warned by pollsters and focus groups, well, don't go and tell the MAGA voters that they're stupid and that they did the wrong thing, because then you'll alienate them and they won't come back to sanity. Guys, sorry, but this is on you. It's for our MAGA listeners, and we do have some, and they'll spread this around because they like to have a fake moral panic. How dare he insult our intelligence? I dare, because you bought this. I dare, because this is your fault. What is happening right now is your fault. Now look, I want to do a little typology of the world we're talking about today. There's a big old group, what we call the truck nuts demographic. Those are the guys with the boat parade flags and their red hats and the truck nuts and the Joe Biden tied up on the back of the truck stickers and all that garbage. You know who they are. You used to kind of keep them in the closet and roll them out every 4 years, maybe. And while there are people who are being hurt by Trump rather dramatically right now, they still represent a hardcore of about 25% of the electorate. And they're going to stick with this guy till the last dog dies. They're going to stick with him till the very, very, very last. And even when he's dead and gone, they will say, no one was better than Donald Trump. They're heavy consumers of Facebook. They're heavy consumers of Fox. These facts should not surprise you. But there's a bigger cohort in the Republican Party, and the economic disaster that is steamrolling toward this country, it's your fault. It's why you're on the enemies list. You knew what he was this time around. You knew what he was. You knew from the failures of the first administration, whether it was on the broadest sort of leadership questions, the chaos inside the White House, the lack of leadership, the divisiveness, good people on both sides, the abject body count failure on COVID, in which his foolishness and recklessness and idiocy cost the lives during his administration of 500,000 people. And the knock-on effects of that cost the lives of about another 500,000 people. You knew what he was. You knew there was no better version of Trump. Our friends at National Review and the Wall Street Journal and all these other places, there's nothing they hate more than being called on this particular question. They will make every excuse. Oh, Wilson's a libtard prog cuck now. He's gone over the dark side. No, guys, I actually held on to my principles about limited government and free markets and free trade and the Constitution and the rule of law and civil order and the role of the president. You guys didn't and couldn't. So last year, all the normies who knew better, particularly establishment type normies who have money and position and influence, they all went out and said, Kamala Harris is a short hop to abject poverty and socialism. With Harris, we'll seize the means of production and America will be flying the red banner of communism. I don't know what accent that is, but it's just what I'm doing today. Also, I need a haircut. Sorry, a little scruffy looking. But they all said nothing could be worse than Kamala Harris. Oh no, not the scary black lady was the code that they were trying to communicate, but they couched it in fear of communism, fear of interventionist government, fear of weaponized Department of Justice, fear of all these things that we all know by now come down to one simple word, and it's projection. Every single time the MAGA universe tells you ex-Democrat or ex-never-Trumper or ex-business leader or ex-whoever is a communist, is a criminal, is a grifter, is a pedophile, is a libtard, is a Soros shill, whatever it is, the inverse of that statement is true of them every single time. So all these normies said, we can't possibly elect Harris. That'd be a disaster for the economy. She would raise taxes on the wealthiest people in the country. She might break up big businesses that have monopoly power. She might stop the healthy free market of oil and gas drilling. First off, let's break those down for a second. If at this point you believe that our tax system is in any way balanced, sensible, equitable, appropriate, I have the aforementioned dinosaur-infected island in the Pacific Ocean to sell you. The system has become so profoundly corrupted with exemptions and loopholes and procedural things that wealthy people are able to hire somebody to, I'll use the word correctly, exploit, that a good CPA can save you a lot of money. A great CPA can make sure you don't pay any. And the vast explosion of wealth at the very top of the pyramid in this country does not trickle down. It doesn't trickle down. I wish that was a theory that I could still make any kind of argument for. But the way that it's concentrated and the way that it is expended, whether it's Elon spending $250 million to elect Donald Trump, or the private jets and 7 mansions compound in Hawaii weirdo lifestyle. I love people to be rich. I want everybody to do well. I want people to do well. I think people who achieve great things in business or technology or science or medicine or the arts should be rewarded for what they do. But right now, the excuse that was very much at the top of the mind of a lot of the normies was, Harris will raise our taxes. Oh, dear God. Oh, my God. That'd be the worst thing in the history of mankind. Please. Second part, that Harris would somehow come in and be this force of disruption in the markets. Can't possibly let her break up Google or Facebook or banks. No, that'd be terrible. We are not well served by monopolies. I am a conservative free market guy, and the monopolies have protected themselves by leveraging Washington, using their power in DC, so on. So they all made this big argument. You can't vote for Harris because it'd be terrible for the economy. The Biden-Harris economy was a disaster by no objective means except for inflation. Was it a quote-unquote disaster? Given the damage Trump had done to our economy because of COVID, was in the best possible shape it could have been in and was swiftly improving. Donnie dipshit takes office. Where are we now? A recession is pending. It's coming. It's your fault. It's what you wanted, what you got. Trump told you he would get in a trade war. Trump told you that. Said it over and over and over again on the campaign trail. Were you not listening? Did you not hear that? Because it is what he told you. And now we're about to pay the price for that. Now we're about to pay the price in terms of stagflation, recession, job loss, scarcity of products and goods and services for the first time in generations. You know what you're not getting? A manufacturing boom, because no one trusts him. You know, you're not getting great trade deals. The deal that was made with the UK on Thursday started out at a 10% mutual tariff. The brilliant negotiators on Team Trump, the aggressive negotiators on Team Trump, the world-class apprentice-level negotiators on Team Trump managed to get that cut down to 10%. They are swinging their dicks around today, claiming, oh, it's the greatest trade victory in all time. It's nothing, Burger. China's still holding firm. They're not going to bend. They have Trump on the run. Trump has given China the greatest gift it could give them. And this is your fault. All you normies who said, oh, well, I'm not a crazy person, but, I think I can live with Robert F. Kennedy, trade war, drunk Pete Hegseth, dropping like a stumbling drunk everywhere he goes, the military being purged of officers disloyal to Trump, which should scare the shit out of you. But that's what you voted for. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. And I know in a lot of your minds, there's a kind of creeping worry. And it's not that the Democrats are going to win back the House and the Senate. There's a good chance they're going to win back the House. Senate's a little tougher, but there are paths. What's worrying you is someday you're going to have to answer to your kids about this. And again, I'm not talking to you MAGAs and the screamers and the crazies on Twitter and social media. You guys are just, you do you. You're going to get what you wanted good and hard. How about you normal folks? Some of you are in Congress. Some of you are in the U.S. Senate. Some of you are out there in this country convinced that you made the right call because Trump would be good for the economy. You justified everything else underneath that. We both know that's not true. We know it's not true on 2 levels. One, he wasn't going to be good for the economy. And 2, you had other reasons. You feel oppressed. You feel angry. You feel like the culture got away from you. You feel like the world is not what you wanted it to be. You feel like the vision of America is looking too colorful for you. And you're not a racist. Of course, you'd never be a racist, right? But you look away when he snatches people off the street. You look away when they arrest students for tweeting things Trump doesn't like. You look away when American citizens get shipped off by mistake. You look away when people here legally are picked up in mass raids. You look away when 7 people so far in ICE custody have died in the last 2 months. You're comfortable with that at some level. You've made a moral compromise. The problem with moral compromises is there's never just one. No deal with Mephistopheles ever goes the way you think it's going to go because he always demands more, because the terms of the contract are fungible and mutable, because you've made one sacrifice to your honor, why not make another and another and another? So it's how intelligence guys recruit people. They get to do one stupid little thing. Don't bring me any secrets. Just bring me the break room schedule. Don't bring me anything classified. Just bring me the break room schedule. Bring me something small. Show me you're with me. Trump's done that to all of you. It started way back in 15 and 16. Some of you walked away in 20, and some of you stayed away after that. God bless you. But a lot of you who pretend that you're normal, you who pretend that you're good people, You're okay with this because it's what you wanted. You knew he was going to do a trade war. You knew he was going to do mass deportations. You knew there'd be an implication in both of those. On the economic side, did you just think you would be the one group of people that were immune to it? Did you think you were the one group in America that wasn't going to get screwed by the same machine that screws everyone else? Did you think you were the one group that wouldn't end up having economic damage in a tightly interconnected global trading system? Did you? Because if so, you're not as smart as you look. You knew the trade war would kill the economy at some level. And yet, still sort of nod and go along. You still won't come out and say it. You still won't put him down and say, I can't endorse this guy anymore. I can't support this guy anymore. I'm done. You're so scared of an imaginary set of demons that you see on Fox News on your Facebook pages. My God, if I criticize Trump for deporting legal immigrants and American citizens, my God, that makes me just as bad as George Soros and the trans athletes. It's the 80th anniversary of the victory in Europe. And the men who fought in that war came from every corner of this great country. They came from every conceivable walk of life. The draft pulled in rich and poor. The draft pulled in North and South, East and West, Hispanic and Italian and white, black, and every other thing in between. 500,000 American boys fought that war. And in the European theater, the cost was enormous. And the moment those kids stormed the beach in Normandy, and they were all children, by the way. They were all kids. They were little kids, 17, 18, 19. When you're 19, you think you're grown up. When you're 60, you look back at 19, you're like, oh, fuck, what did I know? And they made an enormous sacrifice. And they made a sacrifice because they were called by their better angels. They were called by their duty. They were called by honor to their country. And for all of you that have watched a Trump speech, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever once, in a speech given by Donald Trump, heard him call you to be a better person, better American, better citizen, better neighbor, better friend, better husband, better wife? Have you ever heard him once ask you to sacrifice to make this country a better place, to uphold its values? Ever once, just one time. I can tell you, I am unfortunately a student of those speeches. He gives you people to blame, gives you people to hate. He gives you ideas that are both untrue and corrosive and destructive to this country, but he doesn't give you anything bigger. Those men who liberated Europe 80 years ago, 80 years ago this week, Hitler was dead. He was dead because a bunch of 19-year-old and 18-year-old privates stormed those beaches at Normandy, marched through France into Germany. He was dead because the overwhelming economic might of the United States worked together as one. Funded, that Soviet push from the East was funded and built and armed largely by Americans. We built most of their warfighting capacity from a very low point. But those sacrifices and that seriousness of purpose that we had back then, 80 years ago, it's gone. It's not gone because we lost it. It's gone because you gave it away. It's gone because you wanted the sugar high of hate that Donald Trump fed you. It's gone because you wanted to be in bed with Donald Trump because he made you feel like finally somebody's going to stand up to those people that had hurt you so badly. Even though the hurts were imaginary. He never asked you once to be better. He never asks you once to look in the mirror. But I do. I want you to think about what you've done. I want you to think about the last 8 years of damage that you've caused. Because if you do look in that mirror, you're going to see that you're on the enemies list.